On today's Dirty Old Garage show, also known as Corey's Cave, we are going to see if we can restore these headlights. This is my wife's Volkswagen EOS, or EOS is how I usually say it, but I've been corrected on that. It's EOS. We're going to be using just some tape around the headlights, just so we don't hit the paint too much. I've got some sandpaper, I've got 1000 grit, got 2000 grit, got a little sand and block we're going to use. I've used this before on my blue truck, you might recognize that color. We're going to do this like a buff job, sort of. So I got Ultra Cut Compound, the Fine Cut Cleaner, Swirl Remover. Again, skipping a stage. I still have to pick up more medium cut, but I think it'll be fine for this. It was fine on my truck. Got some water in a spray bottle. There's a couple drops of Dawn dish detergent in there. I like to do that. And then, this is the real nice part. I went in my father's garage and I stole his stuff. So, it's got this nice little pneumatic dual action sander, polisher, whatever you want to call it. And then he's got all kinds of different attachments in here. Foam pads, wool pads, sandpapers. I'm going to be using just the wool pad and some foam pads. Maybe one foam pad, maybe two. We'll see how it goes. But it's really nice of him to keep it all in this nice box. Makes it really easy for me to go into his garage and walk out with the whole thing. So thanks, Dad. So let's get started. We're going to tape it up. I think I'll start with this headlight here. The masking job doesn't have to be anything too spectacular. I'm just protecting the paint from getting hit when I sand and buff. I'm not sure if you can see it in the camera, but all the corrosion or oxidation on the headlight is clearly just sun damage. A lot of you probably already knew that, but the top where the hood covers is like perfectly crystal clear, like nothing wrong here at all. Done. First thing I'm going to do is take some my water and soap, a rag that's mostly clean. Just going to give it a quick little wash. Try to make sure I'm not just rubbing dirt into it when I go to sand. Get that. Let's get out some 1000 grit paper. Just gonna rip it about the same size as this pad. Yeah, mostly clean. Good enough. All right, good enough. Let's start sanding. Again, doing this just like a buff job. Cut and buff. Just gonna go right at it. These headlights look pretty awful, so I'm not really that concerned that I'm going to mess it up and make it worse. You can already see just how much oxidation is coming off of here. There's all kinds of kits out there that you can do this with, and they generally work pretty good, but they don't last. When I'm done with this, if it looks good, I'm going to put a ceramic sealant on it, just like a ceramic wax, not the same stuff that you're used to seeing people coat their cars with, but if it comes out good, we'll put that on and we'll see what happens. So what I just did up here, in case you missed it, is I'm cross-cutting. So I'm going in one direction, just like this, all the way across the whole thing. And then I'll come back and I'll go in a different direction. Camera angle is a little bit funny, but I think you can see better than you could. Let's just see what we got going on. What I'm trying to do at this stage is remove all the yellow. I think we pretty much did. I think that's good enough to move on. I'm going to go straight on to the 2000 grit now. All right, now we're going to do that same exact process with 2000 grit. I am skipping some steps. This is not exactly the same as doing a buff job on a car, but it's similar. Let's give this a wipe and see what we're left with. I think it's already starting to look better than it did. I do have some 3000 grit I could try on it, but I think the buffing compound's probably going to do a pretty good job. Probably, maybe, we'll see. Sorry about the hissing noise. Apparently this thing bleeds off, but we're going to go with the Maguire's Ultra Cut Compound on a small wool pad. Just get a little material on here. I generally like to have a little water on here, so we'll do that as well. Just miss the pad and miss the headlight. Just going to wipe this down and see what we're left with. I think that 3000 grit might have been a good step if I would have went with that, but I didn't. Now this is going to seem like big time overkill here, and that's because it is. I'm not really that happy with how that came out for the first cut. I didn't feel like the dual action polisher was really getting in there and doing much of anything. So we are going to bring out the big dog. I also think maybe it would have worked better if I didn't use water. Maybe that just made it too easy to just go over it. But I'm not really liking what I see. So let's see if we can do better. It's going to be hard with this big pad here. Hopefully we don't make too much of a mess. Let's see what we can do. Turn it way down. Wipe off any residue that's left. Now I've got a little foam pad on here. We've got the fine cut cleaner. And I'm going to try with no water this time. Just see if it works better. It's way more material than I need on there, but we'll work with it. Just wipe that off. I'm going to use the first rag I started with. It's got a little bit of residue on it. And then I'll come back and buff it off with the clean rag. I would say that's looking pretty amazing. Though we didn't come this far to only come this far. We got one more step before I put the ceramic coating on it. This is the Swirl Remover 2.0. Just gonna put some of that on here. This is a softer pad as well. This would be more for a finish. Let's get that going. Again, I'll use my more dirty rag for our first wipe here. Just kind of get as clean as we can. I don't know if you can tell in the camera, but that last step, it made a difference. This is really shiny now and looking great. I couldn't be happier. That is amazing. That looks really, really good. I'm going to take the tape off because when I go to put the ceramic stuff on, it's not going to matter if it gets on the paint a little bit. It's no big deal. And I know there's some slurry, sand and slurry stuck underneath the tape that I want to get out of there. Two thumbs up. So what do you think of that, huh? I'm impressed. I think that looks amazing. This one looks like crap. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish this up off camera. You've already seen me do it. And then when I come back, we'll ceramic coat them, or sort of ceramic coat them. We'll see what that's all about. I'll show you that in a minute. But yeah, I think it looks awesome. Let's keep going. Brought you outside. I thought it looked a lot better outside than in that dingy garage. So this is what I'm going to be using. It's a little bit washed out from being in the sun. But it's a ceramic 3-in-1 wax. It's got a lot of the same ceramic stuff that's in a lot of stuff out there. I wouldn't say that it's all like real great, but it's better than nothing. And it's an old car. I don't feel like really doing a complete ceramic coating on it. So I'm just going to spray some of that on there. Wipe it around. It's okay if this gets on the paint because it's not going to hurt it. Then before I buff that off, I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Should at least help protect it a little bit. Last a little bit longer. Alright, so now I'm going to move back over here. Dry side the towel. Just kind of buff it off. Sure that there's no streaks left behind. Buff this side off. Just like that, we're done. I think I got probably 45 minutes into the whole thing. A lot of that time was probably with recording. Probably could have been done in like a half hour, both sides, easily. I'm happy with it. Let me know what you think. If you enjoyed this video and you learned something, please give me a subscribe. Really appreciate that. Give me a thumbs up. Really helps me out. And I'll continue making more videos like this. Thanks for watching.